So apparently, I was wrong. It happens a lot more than you'd think, but I was very wrong about the Chicago Air Jordan 1 Diors. I didn't know I was wrong at the time, but looks like they're not coming out at all, and we'll get to more of that later on in the video. Not only that, but it looks like we've got a lot of new images of a lot of really great sneakers coming out in the near future, and also Vanessa Bryant is pretty mad at Nike for a very good reason. All of that and more to come in today's Weekly Heat. What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'd also like to give a very special thank you to everyone who actually went out and bought a shirt for Bo. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me and also my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, and my nephew. It's really gonna help them out a lot, and if you guys would also like to go ahead and buy a shirt before the donation period ends, I've actually left a link in the description below. Or if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can either check out the intro of my last video, the sit or sell video, or click the link in the description below and read the description for the fundraiser. But seriously, the kind messages and the support you guys have been showing me and my family has just been incredible, and I can't thank you all enough for it. But diving into today's video, I think we should talk about where I was wrong with the Chicago Air Jordan 1 Diors, and that's the fact that apparently they're not coming out at all. According to Sneaker Files on YouTube, who, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out his channel yet, you should definitely check it out because he has amazing sneaker news. These shoes just straight up aren't releasing, and he got that directly from a source at Jordan Brand. Now, I have no idea where this rumor started from. I saw it on a couple different websites, and that's why I reported it. I probably should have done a little bit more background research before I let you guys know about this leak, but turns out it's not true, and we're not even sure if the other colorways are releasing either, the black colorway or the triple white colorway. But as of right now, it looks like the Chicago Air Jordan 1 Diors were fake news and will not be releasing. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to misreport it. I should have done a little bit more research, and I'm just as bummed out as you are that these shoes are not actually releasing. But switching up gears a little bit, let's talk about Converses, and not just any Converse, the CDG Converse Chuck Taylor highs. So I'm sure you're familiar with the Comme des Garçons Chucks that have been out for years at this point. They usually come in white or black and feature a red heart with eyes on the side. That heart with eyes is kind of CDG's thing, and it's been a collaboration that's been happening with Converse for years at this point. In fact, I think it's an all year round collaboration, and these shoes are never really sold out because they keep restocking them. But even though this collaboration has been out for a while, we haven't really seen too many new colors. I think we've had polka dots, we've had brown at one point, but now we're actually getting something completely different and getting a quartz blue and a gray colorway. Sorry, a steel gray colorway is what the official name of this shoe is. But both of these shoes come with black hearts instead of red hearts, which I actually think is a nice change up. We have seen black hearts before on a bunch of different CDG stuff, but these color combinations are new, and I actually think they are kind of nice. So obviously the construction of the shoe hasn't changed, the collaboration hasn't really changed, and the logo placement hasn't even really changed. It's just a brand new colorway, but for a collaboration like this, it stayed relatively the same for years. It's kind of big news. So if you're trying to grab a pair of either one of these colorways, the quartz blue or the steel gray, they should be available in the next couple days at a bunch of different retailers. Sticking with more attainable shoes, which is not something we actually do a lot of on Weekly Heat, which is something I actually should talk more about, to be honest with you guys. It looks like Vans is coming out with a brand new eco collection called the Vans Surf Eco Collection. So this collection is apparently focused on sustainability and utilizes materials that maybe aren't recycled but are more eco-friendly. Not only that, but the shoes in this collection are some of Vans' most popular styles, like the slip-ons, the old schools, the authentics, and to be quite honest, they all look pretty solid, and some of them even feature the checkerboard pattern, which is actually harder to find than you might think, even though it's one of Vans' most popular patterns. Apparently the main thing about these shoes that's eco is that the materials used in these shoes are responsibly sourced. I'm not sure exactly what that means. I think it's a little bit of marketing speak, but apparently they use natural rubbers, they use water-based dyes, which I guess are all good things. And of course, they all come in a light shade of brown, which means that they're obviously earth-friendly. That was a joke, but honestly, if you look at anything that's labeled eco, it either features some green on it or it's an earth tone of some kind, and that sort of signals to consumers that it's eco-friendly, when in some cases, that's just a straight up lie. Now, I'm not implying that at all whatsoever about this collection. I'm sure that this collection is relatively eco-friendly. I just think that in a lot of cases, sneaker brands and just brands in general use the eco-friendly term as a marketing ploy and less of a actual move towards sustainability. But if you guys would like to actually see me pick up a pair and review a pair for you guys, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And if you guys want to grab a pair for yourself, there will actually be links in the description below, and these pairs are available now. So do you all remember the V-Lone Air Force Ones that were incredibly popular and resold for thousands of dollars? Well, it looks like Nike is trying to play off of that a little bit with their brand new Zig Zag collection. Man, Nike's doing a lot of that recently. We just talked about the off-white looking blazers in the last weekly Heat video. Now we've got the V-Lone Air Force Ones, and I'm sure there's a million other shoes that look very similar to popular collaborations, but this one is surprisingly blatant. And of course, like I said in other videos, it's totally fine because it's their own brand, but damn man, this shoe looks just like that collab. So as you can tell from these images, the shoe comes with a tumbled leather black upper, a black midsole and outsole, and of course, an orange zigzag Nike swoosh, which doesn't even look that zigzag from a distance. I mean, I don't really have anything to say about this sneaker. I just wanted to let you guys know that it is coming out and that it is actually a thing that you can buy. If you missed out on the V-Lone collaboration and you want a shoe that looks just like it, you can buy this. But I'm actually really interested to see how well this sneaker ends up doing and whether it actually sells out, because if it sells out, it just proves what Nike is doing is the right move and that they're doing the right thing. If it doesn't sell out, it means that they made a quick buck and they cashed out and they probably threw the rest of the pairs in the outlets and people are grabbing them for like 50 bucks and Nike is still making another quick buck. Either way, it's totally fine. It doesn't really matter to me. I just wanted to let you guys know that it was happening. Now currently there's no release date for the Nike Air Force One Zig Zag, but expect these shoes to drop before the end of 2021. Next up, we've actually got some brand new images and actually really great images of the upcoming Travis Scott Air Max 1s. So these images are from Spicy Chicken Wings and pretty much show every angle of the upcoming Travis Scott Air Max 1s. And honestly, the more that I look at this shoe, the more that I like it. I think I would definitely grab it if it released in a non-hyped up collaboration version because I love the paneling used on the upper of the shoe. It's just super cool, organic, and different, and I think it looks really, really clean. I also dig the colorway, this sort of earth tone, dark brown, light brown, tan thing going on. I think that's dope. Now what caught my attention the most was actually the fact that the air bubble in this picture is kind of painted over. Now I don't know if this is maybe a replica or a sample of the upcoming shoe, or whether this is how the actual retail version is going to look, which if it does actually release like that, that's kind of different. I kind of dig that. For years, the exposed Air Max bubble has been the sort of selling point of Air Max sneakers, but as we've seen Travis do on previous collaborations, apparently they just kind of give him free reign on all of these Nike sneakers. He was able to turn the Nike swoosh backwards, which before that I think had only been done on a pair of LeBrons, and now he's apparently able to paint over the Air Max bubble, which I don't think has ever been done unless the Air Max bubble was enclosed. It really seems like Nike is going all in with Travis, which is something they didn't do with Kanye, and that's really why they lost Kanye to Adidas, because he was given a bunch of creative freedom, whereas Nike didn't really let him do too much, and I feel like they've learned from that, and rather than losing another crazy artist who does crazy collaborations and sells millions of units, they're actually putting money towards something they know will actually make them a bunch more money, and they're giving this person the creative freedom to do whatever he wants. As for the shoe though, I love the strap details that kind of give it a sort of trail look. I think the whole sort of trail vibe that's going on with this sneaker makes it look really, really solid, and when the shoe actually ends up releasing, which possibly could be 2022 based on the Snapchat that we saw a little while back, I'm definitely gonna try and grab a pair and give you guys a review as soon as I possibly can. So Ambush is back at it again with yet another Nike Dunk High collaboration, this time in the Flash Lime colorway. Do you like green? Because if you do, you're gonna love this colorway because it's essentially just all green. After a few very successful Ambush Nike Dunk High collaborations that have released, it looks like Nike and Ambush are continuing their collaborative efforts on a brand new colorway called the Flash Lime colorway. Now as of right now, we don't know whether this colorway is actually going to release or it's going to end up being like the Chicago colorway, which is just a friends and family colorway, but either way, it's a pretty wild looking sneaker. The paneling on the upper of the shoe is exactly the same as every other Ambush Nike Dunk High, however, it comes in a bright green color accented by a black Nike swoosh. This isn't the first time we've seen a monochromatic Ambush Nike Dunk High. We saw the all pink colorway, and now obviously we're seeing the primarily green colorway, but out of the two shoes, I actually kind of prefer the green colorway, which is weird because before I started filming this video, I thought I was going to say the pink colorway, but interesting. Now to be fair, I don't like this colorway anywhere close to as much as the other Ambush Nike Dunk High colorways like the Royals or the black and white pair, but this isn't bad, and it's something that if I see sitting on a shelf somewhere, which I doubt that I'll ever see, maybe I'll pick it up for retail. Who knows? And I'd actually be really interested to sort of gauge out how you guys are feeling in the comment section, so make sure to let me know. Next up, we've got a first look at a new colorway from the off-white Nike Dunk Low, the 50 collection. And apparently this is the 1 of 50 colorway, meaning it's numbered 1 out of 50. And what's interesting about these images, or what these images tell us, is that the first 49 shoes in the collection, while they all will be white shoes, they're not all gonna be exactly the same. Like at first we thought just the laces would change colors, or maybe the accents on the shoe would change colors, but it looks looks like also the midsole and outsole tooling can come in other colors as well. As you can see on this shoe, the midsole and outsole come in a light cream or off-white color. On the other images of the other pairs in the collection that we saw, the midsoles came in white and featured just a different colored patch or logo on the side of the midsole. Now, to be fair, this pair is still pretty similar to the other pairs in the collection except for the 50 of 50 pair, which comes in all black. It features an all-white leather upper with a metallic silver Nike swoosh, and of course I'm going to try and grab it. I'm going to try and grab any of the shoes that I can from this collection, but just knowing hype right now and the way the bots work, the chance of me actually grabbing a pair of these is pretty much 0 to none. That's not the expression. Slim to none is the expression I was looking for. Actually, the more that I look at the shoe, the more differences that I'm seeing between this shoe and some of the other pairs in the collection. I actually forgot that some of the other pairs have gray overlays instead of white overlays. And actually something else that I'm noticing on this shoe is that while the overlays on this sneaker come in white leather, the actual primary upper material seems to be a white suede. Oh, and of course another detail that I forgot is the text on the heel of the sneaker. I have no idea what it means, but it's there on all the other colorways. And if you've been following the news about the Off-White the 50 collection, you know that this shoe can probably be expected to drop around fall of this year. After that, we've got some news about an upcoming Sacai Nike Blazer Low collaboration called the British Tan colorway. So we've actually sort of seen this shoe in person, or whoever took the picture of the shoe saw it in person, because LeBron was actually wearing this shoe during a press conference. So that right there proves that this shoe exists, because if one of Nike's biggest athletes is wearing the shoe, it means that either it's a friends and family pair, it's a PE, it's a custom, or it's actually coming out, which I think is actually going to be the case. So this shoe comes in a slightly more premium feeling makeup with a British tan or light tan leather upper, accented by red hits on the Nike swoosh and around the tongue of the sneaker. Now, as you can see from this image, the midsole does come in a bright white and provides some nice contrast against the upper. Now, personally, I don't love this colorway. I don't think it's a bad colorway by any stretch of the imagination. I just prefer the more brightly colored colorways. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't seem like a shoe that should have a very premium leather upper, or I guess a more formal leather upper is probably what I should have said. But hey, if it's something that you like, go for it. It should be releasing sometime later this year, so you should have a chance to grab it in the next couple months. Next up, Aleli May is dropping another sneaker with Jordan Brand. This time around, it's an Air Jordan 14 Low. So this shoe comes in a really cool sort of teal look and features a gray suede upper. This shoe definitely shares a lot with the clot Air Jordan 14s when it comes to materials and just the silhouette used, but I don't think that's a bad thing, and I'm sure they were in development at the same time, so it really makes sense. And I've got to say, this colorway is actually really fresh. Now, unfortunately, it's probably going to be a women's only release. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes in extended sizing, so smaller footed guys, including myself, could grab a pair if they wanted to grab a pair, but most likely it's not going to drop for the larger footed guys, and if it does, it's going to be in a very small quantity. Now, the Air Jordan 14 is a shoe that I never really loved until I bought a couple pairs and I started wearing them, and I realized how fresh and how sleek they actually look. And this is a colorway that I'm really into. I love the black contrast with the gray upper. I think the teal with that sort of gold hit on the midfoot just all comes together really nice. And I've got to say, I think Aleli May and the Jordan Brand women's design team really knocked it out of the park. And then of course, pair this sneaker with the packaging, this really cool teal colored box. I think the whole thing comes together really nicely, and it's definitely a shoe that I will be trying to pick up. Now, unfortunately, there is no release date for this sneaker at this time, but expect it to release before the end of 2021. Usually when a sneaker leaks, it leaks like a couple months before it drops, not like a couple years before it drops. Well, I guess that's not always true in the case of Yeezys, but usually with Jordan Brand, if you see an image of the shoe, it's coming out in the next couple months. And then finally, the last story that I wanted to cover in today's video is about the Nike Kobe 6 Protro Mambacita and how the shoe wasn't supposed to release, but pairs magically showed up in people's hands. So a couple weeks ago, leaked images came out of an upcoming Nike Kobe 6 Protro colorway called the Mambacita colorway, which obviously pays homage to Gianna Bryant. And we actually covered that shoe in a previous weekly heat, and apparently since then, pairs have been shipped out, apparently by mistake, to people. Now, where this story kind of takes a turn is that apparently, according to Vanessa Bryant, Nike never had the approval to actually ship out that shoe to people. In fact, she actually put out a statement on her Instagram, which I'll read part of right here, that says, "This is a shoe I worked on in honor of my daughter Gianna. It was going to be called the Mambacita shoe as an exclusive black and white colorway on her daddy's shoes. I picked the colors in honor of her uniform, the number 2 she wore just like her uniform, the inside pattern, Kobe and Gianna on the back in gold instead of Kobe's signature, the inside shoe details, butterfly wings, halo, etc. The Mambacita shoes are not approved for sale. I wanted it to be sold to honor my daughter with all of the proceeds benefiting our Mambacita Sports Foundation. But I did not re-sign the Nike contract contract and decided not to sell these shoes. The Mambacita shoes were not approved to be made in the first place. Nike has not sent any of these pairs to me and my girls. I do not know how someone else has their hands on these shoes. I designed in honor of my daughter Gigi, and we don't. I hope these shoes did not get sold at Nike. So first of all, that sucks. That's a really crappy situation, and it seems like Nike is going against Vanessa Bryant's wishes. Now, where I think Nike is not totally at fault is the fact that the reason people have their hands on pairs of these shoes is because these shoes were probably sent out to retailers months before they were supposed to release, and these retailers might have either backdoored the shoes, or what I've heard is that when the last release happened, Foot Patrol in the UK, instead of shipping out the correct shoes, the last Kobe's that released, they accidentally shipped out these shoes to a couple buyers, and those people now had their hands on a pair early. And things like this have actually happened before. Nike's canceled releases and requested the retailers to send the shoes back to them. So it looks like Nike wasn't purposefully trying to release the shoes. However, based on this Instagram post, it does look like Nike went against her wishes and made them anyway. Now, I don't think they were actually going to end up releasing them because they hadn't signed the contract, and Kobe's estate would probably sue Nike, and that would be a whole big thing. So I don't think Nike was trying to do that, especially for the amount of money they would have made off this release. Even if the proceeds didn't go to the foundation, they just kept all of it, it wouldn't have been a lot because I'm sure this shoe was extremely limited. Now, all that said, yes, it's definitely an unfortunate situation. I don't think anyone should have their hands on these shoes, especially since Vanessa never approved the release of these shoes. And I also think Nike kind of screwed up by making the shoes. They shouldn't have made them because she didn't re-sign the contract. Now, from Nike's point of view, it's not surprising that they made the shoes because at the time of making them, producing them, they probably expected the contract to be re-signed, and so they made them in preparation for that. But it does seem a little odd that the shoes were going out to retailers. Like, usually retailers don't get shoes months and months in advance, they get them a couple weeks in advance, at least from what I know about these retailers. So I don't know, it's a weird situation. Obviously we don't know everything about the situation in general, but just thought I'd let you guys know because it is a pretty big topic currently in the sneaker world. But at this point, I would love to know your thoughts on this situation and how you feel like Nike should handle it moving forward. So make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Once again, huge thank you to everyone who bought a shirt and supported Bo and his family. If anyone else would like to grab a shirt, I'll make sure to leave a link in the description below. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.